Capricorn, how are you? It's me, Lauren B. Welcome to the Untitled Tarot. As always, your readings are timeless, and watch the readings by the timestamps. Go by the angel numbers, go by the titles that draw you in. Don't feel stuck to just your zodiac sign, your sun sign, your big three. I'm going to use the Light Seers Tarot for you today, Capricorn. It's funny. I'm hearing that, what is that? Is it Wheel of Fortune? Jeopardy? Is that the Wheel of Fortune? I think that's the wheel. I think that's the Wheel of Fortune. Maybe the wheel, 3:11 on the clock. Well, I read that backwards. It's 11:03 on the clock as I film this, which for me, 3:11 always talks about Ecclesiastes. He's made everything beautiful in its time. That, you know, it feels like unsuspecting to you, like you are just kind of minding your own business. You don't even realize it, and like the Wheel of Fortune is like spinning in the background, and you don't even realize it, which is interesting. And on your Shufflemancy, you had this song by Mac Miller, and Mac Miller's been coming up a lot for me. Rest in peace, good old Mac. Capricorn. I love it when my Capricorns thrive, because you know I'm such a Capricorn fangirl because I have so many Capricorn placements. But it's this song called Knock Knock. It's a good one. I'll link it in the cards for you at the end of your reading. And the chorus of the song goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, some crazy ass kids come and knock up on your door, so let them in, let them in, let them in. And that kind of feels like your energy, Capricorn. Like, unbeknownst to you, like you're just in your house, you're just minding your business, you're just doing your thing, and all of a sudden there's like an influx of people that are going to want your time, they're going to want your attention, but it feels like they want to learn from you. They want to learn from you, and to not feel intimidated or not feel encroached upon or feel like you have to like recoil in on yourself, to step up and be a mentor, be a teacher, be a leader, be like a safe place for these kids to land, right? It feels like you have some kind of expertise, or you have some kind of experience, like you have like a wealth of knowledge that other people are really drawn to, particularly because it feels like you're not flaunting it, right? Everyone acts like they're an expert, like they're a guru, like they're, you know, the solution to everyone's problem, but there's something about the fact of you being much more humble about it, kind of draws people in and makes them feel as though you are a safe place. And it doesn't necessarily feel like you're going to turn people away at the door, but it's almost like intimidating. It's like unexpected. You're like, I don't know if I have time for all of this. Like it's that kind of energy. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. So let's pray, Capricorn, and then we'll look at this Empress over here, and we'll keep pulling cards for you, okay? Father God, thank you for bringing me and my Capricorn, my Empresses, from my Capricorns in. I ask that you give me wisdom, clarity, and discernment to deliver these messages accurately for their highest of love, light, alignment, and assignment. We praise you, we love you, we thank you always. We give you all the glory and the honor for these messages. To the utmost high, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. They're loud. They're loud today. Pay attention. Do you see how bright that is? Why is that happening? Focus. I'm hearing like unexpected comeback, or like unexpected like upgrade. Like it's like this unexpected, like you weren't, like I think you had to be so patient, Capricorn, that it's like you almost just like you dropped the timeline, like you dropped divine timing, you were like whatever, like, and you just kind of went into flow mode, and it's like sneaking up on you. Yeah, they're playing me the Pink Panther theme song in my head. And it's cool because if I'm actually looking at the contrast between these two cards, you have the Empress and you have the Queen of Wands. Do you see how the Empress, she's so passive, right? She's not really looking directly at anyone. She kind of has her head down. She's just kind of receiving messages. She's working on her own stuff. He or she, doesn't matter. You know, growing new things, like keeping themselves kind of refreshed and renewed, right? It is a little bit like in my own little corner of the world. Whereas I feels like this is how people are seeing you. This is how you feel like you maybe are presenting yourselves, but this is how people are seeing you. Open, right? You almost maybe feel a little bit private, but people are actually seeing you as very open. So that's a bit of a contrast. And it may be because, again, you're not flaunting yourself so much that it feels much more receptive with these feminine energies to other people. They're seeing you as really bright, right? Really warm with all these beautiful purples and pinks right here. That's like very loving, very connected to source. It's like almost like this ability to alchemize with this magic wand, the ability to work with different elements. That could even be symbolic of like working with different people, like being able to pull in different resources, right? It's like a little bit of this Midas touch. And there is like a bit of this casual energy as well. Like she's a queen, right? But she's sitting here in like Dockers and like MC Hammer pants and like a crop top, and she's just like chilling, doing her thing. But she actually maintains the essence of elevation, of royalty, of, does that make sense? There's like has status and power, but she comes forward as very casual. So I think that there's a really interesting contrast between the way you feel like you're putting yourself out and the way people are receiving you, which you might be part of the thing that you're not realizing right now. We had a whole chunk that flew out. Let's see. It's interesting because I should go from like the bottom up, like how they flew out, but I want to go from like the top bottom. And I don't know if that's some kind of like trickle down economics, like trickle down spirituality. I don't know what that is, but the 8 of Wands is in reverse, right? With the 5 of Cups. So part of this being kind of pulled in on yourself is you might have been in a healing period over some things that maybe didn't work out for you or didn't work out in the way that you wanted them to. 5 of Cups talks about kind of feeling like you spilt milk, like a little bit regretful or remorseful, right? It's the idea. And there's also something about like sowing in tears, because it's almost like these aces, right? They're full of cups of love and emotion, and she's pouring them down into this vessel, knowing that, you know, maybe you haven't had all of the time or all of the energy, maybe you haven't had all of the resources or the finances to like sow or invest in some aspects of yourself or your life, in your projects, your business, like whatever it is, but you've been sowing in just pure emotion. You've been sowing in tears. That still counts. That's still an energetic, emotional offering to the divine, right? And I don't think you've been communicating that to people, because I also feel like you've been in a period of privacy, a period of healing, right? Now, you do have the 7 of Cups coming out next. And oftentimes the 7 of Cups can come through as temptation, as confusion and cloudiness. It doesn't feel that way today. It really feels like trying to discern your options, right? It's like there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of different ways I can go. There's a lot of different ways I can go about doing this stuff. Because it's a Cups energy, really trying to connect the emotional aspect of your decisions to the ones that you actually choose, right? Connecting the emotion to the option, allowing that to help you make your decisions. With so much of the focus coming into this one cup right here, that's kind of having this river flow from it, from it. So really trying to also choose the right options that are going to allow you to maintain emotional harmony and flow. It seems to be coming in as well, because there is this sense of, after such a long period of time of having to bottle up your emotions and being able to heal and release a lot of them, not wanting to be in a position, to be in an environment, to put yourself into a way of working or put yourself around other people that make you feel as though you have to go back to bottling your emotions. So it's like, I'm going to choose the option that allows me to flow more freely, allows me to express my emotions, allows me to just be a little bit more. You do have the King of Swords coming out in reverse. Sometimes he can come off as a little bit cold or a little bit calculating, that kind of thing. I don't necessarily know if you're being cold or calculating. It doesn't necessarily feel that you are. There may be some people that may be perceiving you as being a little bit standoffish, but I think that's because you're learning boundaries, right? Not just emotionally, but because it's an air card, logically. You're logically trying to maintain boundaries with other people, learning how to say no, while at the same time learning not to feel guilty about saying no to people or to opportunities or to engagements, events, anything like that. It's interesting. There's also something about not wanting to be put in a position that can make you feel cold, right? Because you have the Knight of Pentacles, which is really slow, steady, calm, cool, and collected. The Knight of Pentacles moves with intention as well. And it's the idea of also moving from a king down to a knight. Technically, it is a downgrade. So there could have been situations related to this 5 of Cups that made you feel like you took a couple steps back. but instead of becoming, and maybe you did feel a little bit cold and a little bit calculating, like tricks up my sleeve, and maybe that did make you feel a little clouded or tempted in some way, but there is a feeling of, because they're showing me the King of Cups in my head, a feeling of regrouping that allowed you to actually appreciate the setbacks that you had for enabling you to get back on the right trajectory and move forward in a much more balanced way, so that way what you were planting and investing wouldn't actually be wasted effort and time. It would all be going to something. So this does seem like a real like coming full circle moment for you. And again, as you've been doing that, because again, I should have read from the bottom to the last card to the first card, but I read from the top card to the bottom card, and now I'm done with that last card and I want to go back to the first card. So again, there is this real full circle thing, but in the process of doing that, you have moved into the Empress, right? Very calm, a little bit more of a passive energy, receiving what you need, allowing things to grow organically inside of you, and feeling as though no one's even really, with that Eight of Wands in reverse, aware of the process, especially because you're being very private and you're not expressing so much of what is going on behind the scenes for you to them. But meanwhile, despite all of that, they're seeing you as very casual. They're seeing you as very open. They're seeing you as very colorful. Very colorful. And there is the Star. You have the Star at the bottom of the deck, and the Six of Cups is in reverse underneath that. So I think that for a lot of you, this might have even just been finally really allowing yourself to separate from old soul contracts, lovers, friends, family, whatever it may be, realizing that sometimes it doesn't matter how much you care about people. Some people just don't change, or even if people do grow and evolve, that the person that you're growing and evolving into may not be aligned to the person that they're growing and evolving into, right? Because so often we get into that loop of, well, if they just woke up, or if they just grew, or they just worked on themselves, like we'd finally be on the same page. But sometimes they do that and you realize that you're still not on the same page, that you guys will never be on really the same page. And it's not for a lack of love, and it's not for a lack of effort. It's for the fact that you're actually in separate books. You can't be on the same page with people if you're actually in separate books. But this is you not allowing the devil to play you out of wishful thinking, allowing it to play you out of still being hopeful, to still being prayerful, that there is more for you out there, right? That you can still wish upon a star, like even when the night is darkest. When the night is darkest, that's when the stars shine the brightest. Look at this. It looks like I have a halo. How adorable. I love that for me. Three of Swords in reverse. Beautiful. Moving past old disappointments, old heartbreaks. And it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. This could be just feeling as though you're not being promoted, you're not bringing the abundance, or you're not having the success and the movement that like you want so bad, right? All of that hits the heart center. It's not just romantic love, right? We can't be remiss to put the Three of Swords just in the romantic box, so that can apply there as well. And, you know, with these little strings, it is this like pulling the pieces back together. Pulling the pieces back together. And there are aspects of Capricorn energy that are very prideful, right? Which is why you're so prone to privacy. While you've been stitching yourself back up. And again, this is part of this totally unaware sort of sensation that I'm getting. That you've just been going through this process. You've just been going through the motions, totally unaware of how other people are viewing you. I don't think the Hermit card's not out. I don't think you've been hiding yourself. I still think you've been doing your thing, but I just think that so much of your process has been internal. You've had a very rich interior life for the last couple weeks, Capricorn, and that's part of the unaware. It's having tunnel vision in your own process, and because of that, you're not aware of the ways that you're growing and the ways that you are changing, and the energy that you are admitting, the frequency, the vibrations that are coming off of you that are reaching other people and affecting the way that they see you, right? In your proficiency, in your evolution, because you're so close to your own project, you can't really see how well it's coming together. Makes sense. Four of Cups in reverse, coming out of emotional discontentment. I'm hearing like, it is what it is. And it's not in a self-defeatist attitude. It's just like, it is what it is. Like, there's only so much that I can do. There's also a sense of a longing for other people to want to come out of emotional discontentment, wanting to not feel unsatisfied, not feel unfulfilled. And there's something about what you're doing and the way that you're doing it that's very attractive. The Queen of Wands is the most attractive queen as well. And that's just not just physically, right? Even though physically you might be feeling a little bit better, feeling a little fitter, like glowing a little bit more, right? But there's something about your energy that's very attractive, that's very peaceful. Very peaceful. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Queen of Pentacles came out to other people. And it's the idea of, if these cups got turned over, like it looks like Capricorn did this, and it looks like Capricorn's doing pretty well. So if I could learn from Capricorn, and again, this isn't people wanting to come in and steal your blessings and bad mind you or any of that. It's just like, what can I learn? There's like a curiosity about you. Like, well, how did Capricorn do that? Even people that are just coming across you, it's like there's something different. There's something different about Capricorn. So maybe if I turn over all of these cups and I wash them out, maybe there's something that Capricorn could say or show or teach me that would allow me to be able to refill my cups in a different way than I thought was possible, or in a different way that I already know how to do, right? So it is very much like people coming to you after school. And this doesn't just have to be spiritually. It could be spiritually, but this could be terms of the community, in your church groups, in your family. This could be at like your work, right? Just like you're have sovereignty, you have seniority, like you're really good at your job, your sales are good, there's newer salespeople on the team, and they just want to know, like, well, how did you do it, and how did you set up this, and how did you set up your website, and like, how do you kind of schedule stuff, right? It's that kind of thing. It's the energy of when God puts you in a totally new place where there are no markers on the path, and you have to become the leader that you wish you had. You have to develop a blueprint that was never given to you. You have to become a pioneer and start leaving like little signs along the path, and then new people start the trail and they start seeing your signs. This is kind of what it feels like for you. But again, it's very unsuspecting. You don't expect people to like kind of come up behind you on the trail, because I literally see you on the trail just like in like a stream of thought, like looking at the trees, like, should I put a marker on this tree? Like, should I put a marker on this tree? Like, were these the best shoes to wear? You know, maybe some other shoes would be better. Like, I think that would be a good place to like totally just in your own process, not realizing, not hearing the footsteps coming up behind you of people that had followed the markers on the path that you set however long ago. And it's the idea of these people kind of wanting to come and, again, learn from you or join you, and you being a little bit unsuspecting because you've been used to doing whatever it is that you're doing, right? I'm hearing, like, team leader, right? Maybe your work is very, like, solitary at your job, and it's the idea of you starting to train people now. It's that kind of thing. It's really interesting, but again, feeling very unsuspecting, like not expecting other people to see you as like an example, or see you as a mentor or a teacher or a trainer, something like that. And however this kind of plays out for you, and because you're used to going so solitary, that there's almost like a second thought here, like, should I let them follow me? Like, I don't know, is that gonna slow me down? Like, am I gonna lead them in the wrong place? There's like an added responsibility, and also like you're so used to being so private at this point that it's just almost uncomfortable to have people like in your space. But again, it's going back to this knock knock song, right? Like some crazy ass kids come and knock up on your door, and these may be personalities and people, Capricorn, as well, that are very different than yours. Yeah, you might not understand them, almost being like, well, we're not really on the same like wavelength, like we don't really do the same things or have the same ideologies. Like, are you sure like you want me to teach you how to do this? It kind of reminds me of like sometimes on TikTok there'll be like witches, or they call them like baby witches, even though no one's a baby, right? Or like novice witches, and they'll come to me like for advice and support, and I'm like, are you sure you want to talk to me? Because like I don't do like spell work, like I'm not like a witch. Like, are you sure you want to come to me for spiritual help? Because there are like other people that kind of are into more of the things that you're into, and they're like, no, you, like, this question is for you. And I'm like, all right, sure, okay. It like just reminds me like a little bit of that, right? So there could be something in that. These could be people coming up on your trail, and they're in like Doc Martens and like a crop top, and you have on like hiking boots, and you're like, maybe you need a different trail leader, and the divine is saying, no, this is exactly what they do need, and you actually need this too. They're gonna knock up on your door, so let them in. Let them in, right? We don't turn people away who want to learn. If people invest in themselves enough to want to learn from whoever they can, then it's our duty to teach them what we know, and then they can take with it and they can do what they want, right? Because what's really adorable is the song that had come on after that was God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, right? God only knows where I'd be without you. And it feels like that's the energy kind of coming after that. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. That's the energy that kind of comes after you kind of let them in, after they knock, because I see the Page of Swords, right? And this is also the energy that a lot of these people are in. They're kind of wishing and hoping and praying and putting out these intentions, but they don't really know if they're going to come in. They don't know maybe even really what they want or how to do it. Page of Swords in reverse. They're having a hard time finding the resources or finding the information or the guidance that they need. Two of Swords. They're a little tied up, right? They're a little bit blinded. They don't know which way to go on the path. They're just following energetic roadblocks that they can. The World in reverse. They're having a hard time like learning lessons, learning skills, abilities, right? Nine of Wands in reverse. Maybe some of them had to put some of their pride aside, like perfectionism, and actually be able to get up the gumption to actually ask someone for help, ask someone, hey, can you train me? Like, hey, I'm not that good at algebra. Like, hey, like, I really, like, respect where you are, and I'd like to be there one day, too. So, like, how did you set up your marketing? Like, how did you do that? Like, you know what I mean? Putting down their defensive so that way they can actually be vulnerable enough to ask for this assistance in which they need, right? So that way, Page of Pentacles, they can actually learn something and build for themselves in a new way, while being a conscious co-creator with the divine. Ooh, the divine design for them. Ooh, interesting. I like that. So they can put down their defenses and actually start learning the skills, the abilities, the narratives, the mindsets, the philosophies that will actually allow them to see practical change in their life, which is part of their divine blueprint, right? But will also help them structure their schedule, structure their work habits, structure the ethics and the ways that they use whatever skills, talents, whether they're natural or whether they're spiritual, moving forward. And again, unbeknownst to you, you've come a lot farther than you think you have, and you're actually like ready for this now. Again, it's like a countdown clock. You might have actually been seeing angel numbers in like succession of each other, like 3, 2, 1, or like 3, 4, 5, like things in order, not realizing that like you're getting closer. It's like a countdown clock for this. It's interesting. I'm interested to see what the second part of your reading has to say. So, Capricorn, I'm going to keep pulling cards, and I'm going to go do part 2 of your reading. If I leave you here, I love you. Thank you so much for being with me. You're doing great. You don't even realize how good that you're doing, and how well you're being perceived by other people. But you're doing amazing, sweetie. If you are interested in your extended reading, the links for that are going to be in the description box. You have 2 options between Vimeo and Patreon. Vimeo is just this extended. Patreon is a subscription to get all of the extended readings. I am also going to put my link tree in the bio if you're interested in a live one-on-one Zoom reading. The link tree is in the description box. If you're interested in a pre-recorded reading, my rates, the times, and my email is in there for that as well. So you can pick between either one that you want. And until I see you next time, I love you. You stay prayed up, and you stay blessed, and you stay sweet, and I will see you very soon.